Hello there, folks. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you again, and thank you very much for popping over just to check out these wee beauties. And I hope that I find you very well. So today I made a batch of these traditional Scottish rolls. They're also known as morning rolls because obviously they get delivered in the morning to the shops and sold in the morning. Or where we are, we actually call them Morton's rolls because I think it's just a brand thing. Actually, I'm not really sure, but we call them Morton's rolls. But whatever you call them, they are a beautiful soft bread roll, and they've got a characteristic sort of rough sandpaper texture on the top, and they smell amazing and they taste amazing. We have soup and rolls quite often for our tea. If you watch my meals of the week video, you'll know that. So I thought I'd give them a go for myself, and you know what, they were so easy. I couldn't believe how easy they were. And this is everything that I used here, and I will leave all of these ingredients along with the weights in the description box underneath the video, but I'll also put them on the screen as we go along. So I highly recommend you give these a wee go. It's all in the kneading. You know, you can use a stand mix if you've got one, but I'm just going to do this by hand because I appreciate that not everybody does have a stand mix. So let's get right into it, and I'll show you how I whipped a batch of these up. And these ingredients will give you enough for between 9 to 12 rolls, depending on how big you make them or how big your oven tray is. So let's get into it and I'll show you. So the first thing we're going to do is get the yeast going. So grab your jug, and into that have your lukewarm water. Add in your sugar and just give that a wee stir around until it dissolves. To that we're going to add our yeast. This is fast acting yeast, and just make sure your water is lukewarm or tepid. Do not use cold water for this or it won't work. Some nice lukewarm water. Give it a wee stir around and just set that to the side for the time being, and that'll get your yeast going. Then grab a bowl, and to that you want to add your flour. So this is strong white flour or bread flour. And to that we're going to add our salt, and give this a really good mix through your flour because obviously you don't want your yeast coming into direct contact with that salt. So just make sure it is well mixed through. And then we're going to add our lard. Now this is just fat, so just rub it into your flour the same way you would do, you know, if you were making a cake or something like that. So just make sure it's, you know, just keep rubbing it until it disappears. Doesn't matter if you've got the odd wee lump in there, but you don't want any massive lumps, obviously. And then you can pop in your yeast and your water. Now this is where it gets messy, so I'm just going to use the end of a wooden spoon to kind of bring it all together in the bowl. Then once it's all together and there's nothing dry or anything lurking in the bottom of your bowl, you can just pop it out onto your work surface. And you want to knead this dough for 10 to 15 minutes. And you know, it sounds, oh my goodness, so difficult, but it isn't. It's actually quite therapeutic. Just use the heel of your hand, push it down, move it around, push it down, move it around. But do give it 10 or 15 minutes kneading because this is going to have such a difference on your end result. You know, you do want that nice elasticy sort of texture, and that's what the kneading is going to do. It's going to work the gluten, so that's very, very important. Like I said, if you've got a stand mix with a dough hook, you could use that if you want, but like I said, I'm just doing this by hand. Onto your work surface, pop down some semolina or even some rice flour if you prefer. They both do the same job, and it's just to give you that nice rough texture. So just sort of roll it around in that and give it another wee knead if you feel the need to. I just gave it another wee knead, not necessary. And that's you done. You're ready for your first proof. So grab yourself a bowl that's going to be big enough because this is going to double or even, you know, more than double in size. So make sure your bowl is big enough. Pop in some oil and lightly grease the inside. You just want to make sure that your dough isn't going to stick when you're ready to take it out. Pop it into your bowl and cover it loosely with a cloth for an hour or maybe even an hour and a half. You will know by looking at it. Make sure it's in a nice sort of cosy, draft-free place. And after your time, you will have something that looks like this, if all goes to plan, and that is more than doubled in size. So pop it out onto your work surface, and you shouldn't need any flour or anything. It shouldn't be sticking, and you just want to knock all the gas or all of the air out of this. So just do it gently with the flats of your hands, and you will easily get the air out of this. And then just roll it up into a log or a ball, and then we're going to start cutting it into your sort of roll shapes. Now I've got a scale there because I do want my rolls roughly the same size. They don't have to be perfect. Mine were between 130 and 134 grams, and I actually get 10 equal sized rolls out of my mixture. Now obviously if you want smaller rolls or larger rolls, you'll get more or less. I wanted 9 because my baking tray will hold 9, and I had enough there for an extra one I put in a different baking tray. So grab your baking tray and you want to line that with some grease-proof paper just so that your rolls don't stick. And then with your hand, sort of put your hand into sort of claw or cage sort of position and keep it quite rigid, and sort of roll the ball in that wee cage you've made for your hand, and you'll have perfectly round balls like these. But they don't have to be perfectly round, because in the shops here, you know, Morton rolls, they're not always perfectly round. Sometimes they're square, sometimes they're all sorts of shapes and sizes. So it's not that important that they're perfectly round. But mine's did turn out quite round, as you can see. So just keep going until you're happy with the size of your rolls. Pop on some more rice flour or semolina, just for it's just a texture thing, you know, it does nothing for the flavour, but it does give you a nice texture, and the texture you will find on these rolls. Then with a rolling pin, or even just your hand, you want to flatten these down slightly because they will rise again for the second proofing. So once they're quite flat, pop them onto your baking tray. And don't worry if they're touching, because they will touch as they bake and proof anyway. And you do want that sort of pull apart thing at the end going on. So you do want them touching. So this was me after an hour, and they have risen beautifully. Now that's them done basically. So you want to bake these for 15 minutes just. I mean, they don't take long at all. You want a very, very hot oven, and that's your temperatures there on the screen just now. Put them at the top of your oven where your oven is hottest. Now I gave mine 15 minutes and mine came out looking like this, and I was ecstatic with the way these looked, and you get that lovely sort of hollow sound when you tap the top. And I'm just going to let you hear, and this is how they should sound, and that's how you know that they're well baked and baked all the way through. So just listen to this. So you'll want to let these cool down just a wee bit before you get into them and devour them, which is quite difficult because the smell of these things was unbelievable. I love the smell of fresh baked bread. You know that when you walk by the baker, and so just pop them onto a wire rack. You don't need to take them off the greaseproof paper. You can leave that on there if you like. So I just popped mine onto a wire rack, and I gave these about 20 minutes just to come down in temperature a wee bit, because we did have these last night for our tea with some soup, which you'll see in Meals of the Week. So I didn't want them piping hot, because obviously I'm going to put butter and different things in them. So I didn't want the butter completely melting into the rolls. And as you can see here, I mean, they just pull apart wonderfully, and I just love that. And this is the texture. This is the kind of texture that you're going to get. They're slightly chewy, you know, they should be slightly chewy with that lovely top there. They're just amazing. So highly recommended you give these ones a go, and they should just be able to pull apart quite easily. And these ones are so soft and fluffy in the middle. I was struggling to try and keep it together. But that's what it looks like if you just pull it apart. You can, of course, use a knife if you want it a wee bit neater. And this is what I would do, you know, if I was filling them with sausage or bacon or something, just to keep it a bit flatter. And this is what it looks like inside. You can see the steam still coming off of that there. So yeah, I did let these cool down just a wee while. Like I said, we had these for our tea with some square sausage, which is very traditional, or bacon even, with some soup on the side and a few crisps. But that was our meal last night. So just before I move on, I did want to say, as usual, a massive thank you to the supporters of the channel over my Patreon page, and to the channel members here on YouTube as well. Thanks ever so much, guys, for supporting what I do. And thank you all for watching and for your continued support. You know, I'll be coming up to 3 years that I've been uploading YouTube videos in October. That'll be 3 years, and it has just flown by. I started off, you know, I was so chuffed when I seen my first 50 subscribers, my first 100, my first 1,000, and I can't believe my next milestone is going to be 100,000 subscribers. I can't believe there's 100,000 of you actually watching what I'm doing. So thank you all from the bottom of my wee Scottish heart. And if you're not following me over on Instagram yet, I'm What's for Tea 3 over there. It'd be lovely to see you over there. But I'll catch up with you either tomorrow or the next day, I think, with my wee shopping haul. We're back to Sainsbury's again, so hopefully you will join me for that. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and bye for now. Bye now.